Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach. I have my workout clothes on because I want to take a bike ride, and I'm going to go for a walk with my wife in a little bit. So I figured, why change? Just keep these clothes on because they're all sweaty anyway. I figured out what the problem was with this, and of course it was, as it usually be, it was a very stupid thing to do. And probably you saw it if you're watching the last video. I forgot to put the attribute in a namespace. So of course, it's not going to find that name. It's not going to be there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That's not the right one. This one right here. So once I did that, it works and everything works. So that's now done, and that's to be expected. I did think a little bit about the fact that we're kind of changing build type to be flags based, but nobody's ever using it as a flag anyway. So the fact that it's now changing to be a flag shouldn't affect anybody, and from now on it will be used as a flag. So I have the tests in place to make sure that it will generate this way. Everything should work. So the next thing I want to do, I got to commit all this. Oh, that's why. Okay. I was like, why in the world would all these files change? It doesn't make any sense. It's because I changed the name from rock attribute generator to just rock generator, because it makes sense. We're going to have rock generator, rock analyzer, and rock attribute. Rock on. Okay. So let's commit that. 320 created new attribute, renamed some types, moving on. Good enough. So now what we're going to do, this is where it starts getting a little dicier, is we're going to come into our rock create, and we're going to say obsolete. This attribute will be removed in 9.0.0. Please use rock attribute instead. Is it an error? False. Technically, the path that you should do with obsolation, when you're going to get rid of types and stuff, is you have a version where it is marked as a warning, and then you have a version that's marked as an error because now it's breaking, and then you completely remove what you want. I'm going to skip a step just because, well, I can. And yes, that's probably technically not true, but I know I don't have tons of users. And to change your code over is really going to be fairly insubstantial, because you're just going to say rock type of this. We're going to see, though, how all of my code now runs by doing this. We're first going to do tests. And as you can see, things fail. Things fail. I've noticed this with Visual Studio in recent years, that the errors don't always show up. So what we're going to have to do here is suppress in source, because we need this. We need to do this at least in the code. That will get removed later on. And in fact, yeah, it's almost like, do we need to include the non-generic versions? No, because it's going to go away. Well, we do need to include those rock attribute. Let's keep going. Okay. So actually here, analyze attributes. I'm almost thinking of having just a separate register operation action for this, because it's going to be clearer in terms of what you're trying to do. In fact, before I forget, let's do that. We're going to say analyze attribute. And we're going to add two of them in here. Analyze attribute. Except here, we're just going to say var rock attribute symbol is just going to be rock attribute. And then that is what's going to be passed into this. except attribute only needs iname type symbol, rock attribute symbol. So is the operation a creation? Yes. What's being given is close generic. Oh, we don't need the original definition anymore. So attribute type here is a name type symbol containing type. Right, okay. Sorry, I just have to go through in my head a little bit. The build type is the rock attribute symbol, attribute, constructor, arguments, parameters. Because we're doing that in the generator, well, sort of. Well, we are down here. We're looking at the attribute class, which is attribute data. This is different. This is all the symbols. This is a constructor. I think the attribute is that's the constructor, which is a method symbol. The first one, or it should be parameters of 0, the build type down here. Yeah, we could actually look at this. We actually have to pull, and that's why this doesn't work with non-generics, because we're looking at the type arguments. We actually have to look at the actual value coming out. What we could do for now is just fake it and say build type create. There's going to be no not null there. That doesn't make any sense. And we're going to say if build type has flag, build type create, then we're going to do this. And then if it's make, I know this looks a little weird, but it's because mock model is already defined to be just taking a value. So this may be something that I revisit in the future. We don't care about that. So the reason I'm doing all this is because if I look at tests here, if I do something like, this is where the lazy part of me kicks in. I could change this. In fact, I'm thinking it's probably the best thing to do right now is just say rock type of data, build type create. So let's just start getting this to work. Okay, so let's see what happens when I do this. So we get the constructor, and the attribute type is rock's attribute. Okay. Now, how do we pull attribute.constructor.parameters 0? Well, wait a minute. No, it's different because this is a constructor argument. This is not the same thing over here. We have a method symbol over here. These are constructor arguments, but this is from an attribute data thing. It's somewhat different. So how do you get the value of the attribute, if that makes sense? I know I've had to do this somewhere else. In fact, I think I've done it in Transpire, which is something I have not looked at in a long time. But there should be, invocation syntax, semantic model, context operation semantic model, argument expression symbol. That gets you a constructor. So if that is a datetime symbol, then we go through all the parameters. We're looking to see, that wasn't very helpful. So what would that type? There is no explicit default value. There's type arguments, but that's not attribute arguments. What is that? So if I say attribute argument 0, What is that? It's a type of operation. Well, this is getting interesting. I did not expect this to kind of go off the rails here. Dot, what's the value? It's a type of operator. Wait, so what's the type? Type op. It's saying the value as a type of operand. Wait a minute. It's just not good enough. Attribute arguments 0 dot value. Well, what is that? It's an I operation. Yes, type of. Var x is equal to that. I don't know how else to work with this but I got to figure this out. So what is x? Well, what is it? X.getType name. It's a type of operation. But that doesn't really help. And then you could say here x dot type of operand is a type symbol, var q. And then var p, because I'm just being so creative. Okay, what's q? Q is a type symbol that is data. What is p? P is a field reference operation. I'm assuming that there's a as I field FIELD operation, field reference operation. So that would make var f equals to p dot instance, constant value, type. I don't know what you would be. P is that. So what is field? It's a field symbol. What is that? Like I just want to get... So it does have a value, and that's its value, because that's create, and create is 1, make is 2. So I could say cast it to that, right? What was that again? P is constant value. I mean, it's cheating. Build type constant value. Value. Why don't you like that? That's not it. There. Now what do? F is create. Q is data. Yay! So we're going to do this. We're going to say attribute as iType operation that dot type operand as I named type symbol. Or does it really have to be a named type symbol? The type symbol here, so it can just be an iType symbol. We don't have to go that cute. This is our mock type symbol. And our build type is going to be this, that bang dot constant value dot value bang as build type. And the only way this gets called is if it is of my rock attribute. We don't even need to check that anymore. In fact, we don't need any of this anymore. This all shrinks down to that. There. So now if we run this, what happens? It fails. Why did it fail? Expected diagnostic. Oh, okay, that makes sense. 312.328, 312.348, because we made it bigger. Yep, right there. Boom. So we got that in now. You're saying that's never used anywhere, right? Yep, that was a useless thing. So we get that. Okay, cool. I know that I'm at time and I kind of got onto a sidetrack, but this is good because I'm going to need to do this for all of these. In fact, hold on. All analyzer tests to use rock. That's at least one thing I got to do. Now the tests here run. Like, I mean, I wouldn't even be able to get this to run if it didn't run, if that makes sense. What happens when I run all these tests again? I already forgot. 56 fail. Is there any commonality as to why they fail? Mismatch. Yeah, so that one isn't actually valid. Analyze when class has no mockable. A lot of these are analyzer tests. There's 4, and these are obsolete tests. So yeah, they're going to mean it did you. Yeah, it's picking up that change those. So we're going to want to fix those. So there's some work to do here. I got the feeling. What happens if I change this and I say rock type of no mockables build type make? Does it pass now? Yeah, it does. So all these analyzers have to change. I will get rid of the 50 odd errors. And then the obsolete ones, I just have to change those to being, so obsolete tests need to be updated to use rock. Also, I realized I missed docs for rock 14 analyzer. I got to do that. Update docs to champion rock attribute. And while I'm here, let's do this. Since we always do notes, let's make notes. So if I go to repos, JSON, rocks, docs, notes. I always do this. Put the thing there. So that's my list to do. So when I get back from my walk and I take a shower, I'll start recording another episode where I start doing more of this work to keep moving forward on this and cleaning it up. Thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.